Hey guys, welcome back to Art for the Week. For this week, we're going to be starting a new artwork. We're going to be talking a little bit about the elements of art, lines and shapes this week. We're going to be studying the artist Mondrian, who uses a lot of lines and shapes. And he uses colors as well. He uses very simple colors called primary colors. The primary colors, remember again, are red, yellow, and blue. So for this week, when we color our artworks in, they're going to be using these three primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. We're going to be studying how to use lines to create shapes and how we can color in those shapes once we've made them. All right, so hold tight. We're going to learn a little bit about our artist, and then I'm going to show you how to make your artworks. All right, so here is our artist Mondrian with one of his more famous paintings behind him. He uses simple lines to create squares and rectangles, and then he uses simple colors like reds, yellows, and blues to paint in all his artworks. The artwork we're going to create is going to be very similar to what he created here. To understand our artist better, we have to look at some of his early artworks. He started off painting things that look somewhat realistic. This is just a house with some trees. The lines aren't really 100% realistic in the tree, and eventually he transitions into painting a tree here that just uses a lot of simple lines spreading out across the paper, and the color in the artwork starts to disappear as well. Eventually his artworks become more and more abstract, meaning it's losing the focus, this is another tree, to where he's just getting some simple lines and basically removing all the color in his artworks. And eventually his paintings just start using lines to create simple shapes like squares and rectangles, and he uses primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, to paint in some but not all of the spaces. Okay guys, so what you're going to need to start our project is a piece of paper, a pencil, and something that's rectangular in shape. If it's rectangular, it's got one longer side, or two longer sides that are equal and parallel, and two shorter sides that are equal and parallel. It's like a stretched out square. So what we want to do is when you start out with this, because we're going to end up tracing it with our pencil, which we also need. What I want you to do is just find a good place to put it down and trace. And what we're going to figure out is that when we trace it once, we're left with a rectangle. Okay, it might not be perfect, but that's okay. And what we want you to do is to place another one on top of it, maybe not perfectly straight where the other one was. Turn it to a different section or angle, and then I want you to trace it again. So what happens is, when the two shapes overlap, they create a new shape, which we have right here. So what the plan is we're going to trace this a bunch, either vertical, straight up and down, which we talked about, or horizontal, this way, until we fill up the paper, and we'll get a bunch more shapes. Alright, so I'm going to use the box to trace a bunch more squares, only using them vertical and horizontal, meaning straight up and down and sideways. When I'm all done tracing everywhere, I'm going to get a black marker and then trace all of those lines that I created previous when I was tracing the block. Alright, so once all the shapes have been traced, the goal is next to get it colored in using our primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. These are the three colors that our artist Mondrian are using, and these three primary colors are the most important colors we need to learn in elementary school. From those, we can create all our other colors. If you're looking at how I colored it in, we did leave some areas white, just like our artist did. I want you guys to kind of do the same thing. When you color a shape, don't color the one right next to it blue if you've colored the other one blue. Choose a different color so we can get a little variety as you move through the artwork, coloring it in. So for some of you older kids, you might think this project's a little too easy. So I'm going to give you the option of creating an animal. So I'm drawing an animal with some shapes, tracing it with a black marker. And then I'm going to draw the same grid on the inside of my animal using vertical and horizontal lines. So you see me drawing lines straight up and down. You see me drawing lines sideways through it. And then the next step is I'm going to trace it with a black marker, just like we did in the last artwork. And we're going to use our primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, to color it in when we're all done. Basically, it's just another option for you guys if you think you want to make your artwork a little different and maybe make make it a little bit more challenging. Best of luck, guys. Can't wait to see what you create. Post them on Seesaw when you're done so we can share and talk about your artworks that you've created. All right, thanks. Can't wait to see everyone's art.